So, Jeff, let's just dive right in and talk a little bit about home hosting. So, when we look at being the role models for our young people and we look at leading by example when we're planning our party, I suppose it doesn't matter whether we're planning a birthday party or a barbecue. A party is really a party.
Party's a party.
Eh,
Yeah, well, the home party has certainly changed the last 30 years. Obviously, we are, I think, talking about this because we all have lived with the principle of do as I say, but also do as I do. You need to be representative and great role models for your children, developing good habits. As I've been talking about for 10 years, we're not Middle Europe. We don't have wine on the table when we're 15. So the home party has definitely changed the last 20 years. The creativity with food and beverages changed. I mean, every soul in Canada watches the Food Network, and that has changed their mindset of what their capabilities are in terms of home hosting. But actually, with alcohol as pretty much a foundation of every home party, there are certain things we need to pay attention to. We have the same responsibilities now, Fran, at home that the same as the commercial establishments downtown where you might spend a night on the town. And sometimes home hosting, it's more creative, it's more social, and also might save $400.
Right.
So it's been a little cost prohibitive the last 10 years to go out. So that's why it's so important right now to talk about home hosting.
Yeah. So why don't we start, Jeff, with talking about the basics of setting up a party? And it's important to recognize that the basics that we're going to touch on today really are the tip of the iceberg, right? Later on, we will be doing other podcasts that will build on some of these items and help you build your knowledge base and give you some extra tips on things. But for right now, what is it that every single party needs to be safe, fun, and cover off the issues of liability and get back to that role modeling and mentoring for young people who will be hosting their own parties on campus and perhaps off as well?
Well, I think right off the bat, let's talk about a very responsible and creative host. Not just a responsible host, but a creative host. We want, obviously, the incredible array of food and beverage and social elements that are so critical to a great party. You want everybody walking out of your party with a great time, but not having the preaching of responsibility and worrying about insurance issues in the forefront. So let's talk about food and beverage. With food and beverage comes responsibility, obviously. The dispensing of alcohol is critical, whether you are in a party a block from your campus as a student, or you're the parents at Christmas, or hosting a grilling / barbecue patio party. This is again the principle of do as I say and do as I do, and running an effective party, but a very responsible party, is very simplistic. We try at home now to adopt a lot of the Smart Serve principles that commercial establishments do live by. They obviously have training policy and procedure that is well above what you're going to get into, but the same Smart Serve principles, Fran, apply. They obviously do. Some of those are the hints that we can give you at home are in terms of bar service. We try and avoid self-service bar. Number one, the cocktail industry has grown so much. It's as much a lure to sit around and talk about the creativity of cocktails. Thus, you need a responsible bartender and a trained bartender. Have plenty of snacks available. Obviously, we try and stay away from salty snacks. We don't want everybody thirsty for a full 4 hours. Have an array of non-alcoholic beverages, more than just your standard sodas and juices. The non-alcoholic / the mocktail industry has changed so much. Fresh mocktails are as important as fresh cocktails.
Absolutely.
So with the incredible amount of vessels and the functionality of our small wares at home, is just like the commercial establishments, blenders, etc. There's so much more you can do on the non-alcoholic side. That should be a focal point because not everybody at your party is going to drink. Don't serve up until the point your guests depart, please. And secondly, make sure you know when your guests depart and you see them out, as you need to measure the signs of intoxication. Safe transportation, I think, in this day and age goes without saying. That is critical. Drinking and driving in this province is still front and center. and it's got to be in everybody's social conscience, especially when you're hosting a party. There's been many insurance agencies that have been in the media lately and are putting the pressure on you to be a responsible host, and we're giving you the hints right here to do that. Safe transportation is first and foremost what we need to focus on. There are other things that we'll get into down the line here.
Yeah, and there are some elements to that that can really work in a party setting that will help support the young people in our lives too. So for one thing, when we are setting up the party, if it's a family function or a barbecue, or perhaps you're hosting even a work function in your home, that's also quite common these days, we can bring our young people in to support us. We should invite them to the party, let them help us set up, make sure all these tips are being fulfilled, but perhaps even if possible, they can be people who are working the room, watching our guests, helping replenish the food, cleaning up drinks, to help us monitor what the state of our event is. And then it really is a family event where we're all participating in the safety of our guests, but also making sure everyone's having a good time too.
Absolutely. So much of what we do, and I mentioned, the Middle European model where wine sometimes is on the table when you're 13, 14. We want to draw a happy medium. We don't want alcohol with our teenagers to be out of sight, out of mind. Then you hand them off to us at the post-secondary level, and we've got to deal with the significance of that. At the same time, I want your kids to emulate you. And all of these responsible practices that we're giving you right now, they'll take with them, and believe me, if they can learn the ways and means of proper hosting at that age, they're going to be much better off at a 19-year-old party 2 blocks from campus or in campus residence.
Yeah, and we are sponsored today by SmartServe Ontario, and SmartServe is the organization that actually trains and certifies servers in the province of Ontario. Across the country, there are other organizations that may be similar, so if you're watching this from a province outside of Ontario, be sure to check out the website and see what you can find out about server training and server certification, because it's actually a really great tool for young people to have when they're old enough to serve. So when a young person is, coming on 19 years of age and perhaps would like to be certified, they can go to www.smartserve.ca and they can get themselves certified via the web testing, or they can check out their campus and see what's going on at their local campus pub to see if they can get SmartServe trained there as well. It's a great tool to have because you can work in bars and resorts across the country, and that will help you make a little extra money, as well as make sure that you're doing everything safe wherever you go.